Deep Meditation with Bodhisattva Sri Swami Premodaya. Recorded live in Los Angeles. Standing in the Beyond.
So just relax and let yourself really get here. Because we only have a few minutes together, an hour or so. And wherever we go, we tend to bring the cares of the day and the cares of the week and the cares of a lifetime. So see if in this hour you can let go of those and just be here. And just let your eyes fall closed without any effort. And just drop inside. Being with yourself, being in yourself. Experiencing yourself from the inside. This is the century of rushing around. That's how we live our lives these days. Rushing from here to there, taking care of this, getting that done. None of this changes in any essential way our real life. The real life is inside. The real life is who you are from the inside out. We live life in these days from the outside in. Meditations like this are an opportunity to turn back, turn inward, which is really how it's meant to be. It's more natural. It's more how we're put together. We're not put together for constant external stimulation. We're not put together for the kind of culture we now live in, where messages are being beamed at us day and night. Buy this. Go here. Achieve that. Really, life is about achieving yourself. Whatever you achieve on the outside, if you don't achieve yourself, you've missed it. And every intelligent person knows this deep down. Every thoughtful person has a sense that there's something more, there's something deeper. There's something else than that which is on the surface. And it's actually far more serious than that. Because it's very easy to miss. It's very easy to miss yourself, to go through the entire span of a lifetime, well into old age, and finally find yourself in the last moments and realize you've missed. This is a common experience, to realize that life hasn't really happened yet, and here I am on my deathbed. So to really grasp the situation we're all in, recognize now, take these few moments to recognize how short, how brief this life is. 70 years, 80 years, if you're lucky, 90 years or a few more. It's really next to nothing in the history of all things. It's really just a 2-second flame that burns for a little bit and then goes out. Take that very seriously. Feel that as much as you can right now, that this life will be over before you know it. Whenever it ends, even if your life is long, it'll be too soon, too fast. No one has ever said in the last moments, life was so long. We go through our lives as if that weren't true. We go through life as if we're always going to be right here. As if every distraction and every activity didn't really impinge on anything. As if we had all the time in the world. Our time is very, very short. And the interesting thing is, life moves in patterns. And human beings have been around long enough that those patterns, at least it's my observation, are fairly clear. But we never listen. We never benefit from someone else's experience. Somehow, we don't believe it. We believe we're the exception. But the patterns of being a child, of growing up, the patterns of being a young adult and finding a place in the world and deciding on work or career, the patterns of establishing a home and finding a mate, the patterns of middle age and starting to search for something more true, the patterns of old age, looking back, assessing, and looking ahead to the beyond, to that which is beyond this life. These patterns apply to everyone. We're in a time and an age where it would not be difficult, with all the knowledge that has come before, it would not be difficult to map out very accurately how most people's lives move. And of course, this is done. The various psychologies, the various religious views, the various spiritual traditions all have something to say about how life works, about how humans function, about what happens as one moves through a lifetime. On a personal level, the individual level, even on a societal level. These things are not unknown. These are really the patterns of the material world. They're the patterns of the body and the mind. And the knowledge is there, but no one listens. Every viewpoint, every theory, every idea that explains the pattern is in conflict with all the other theories. Which one is right? Instead of recognizing the truth contained in each. The essential truth is life moves forward, whether you go along or not. No matter how much of you bring or don't bring, life moves forward and comes to an end point in this existence, on this planet, in this body, in this lifetime. But we conduct ourselves as if that weren't true. And this is the first real gelling of spiritual maturity, advanced spiritual maturity, when you recognize for the first time how little time you have and how easy it is to miss what matters, how easy it is to miss yourself. And when this is really recognized, then the search begins. The search for what really matters, the search to make sense of it, the search to know directly and personally what's beyond this life, what this life is in the middle of, what the real purpose of this life is. Because none of us know how we got here. None of us know for real what we're doing here. And certainly none of us know when or how we're leaving here. So this is the unknown that we live in every moment. And it's even bigger than that because we are that unknown. It's not just you don't know. It's you are the unknown. You can't address, you can't say anything truly meaningful or for sure about any of this. You can't say how your blood flows. You can't say how you came to be. You don't really know the true composition of anything if you really are honest with yourself. You can't say what the air is made of. You can list the names, the different chemical components, but that's not really knowing anything. You can't say how your consciousness operates. How much more unknown could it be? So this has to be recognized because it's your true situation. You come from the unknown. You operate in the unknown. You exist in the unknown, and even more so, you are the unknown. So any idea, and we tell ourselves day in and day out, consciously and unconsciously, whether we realize it or not, any idea of knowing is a self-deception. On one level, self-deception, on another level, group deception. The society teaches us this is how things are, this is how things work, this is who you are, this is the right way to be. But none of that, not one bit of it, addresses the unknown. It only addresses what we call the known. It only addresses our ideas about things, about ourselves, about this world, about eternity, about infinity. So real knowing is not to be found in ideas. It's only to be found in direct experience. Your actual personal experience. That's not based on some idea. There's nothing wrong with ideas. There's nothing wrong with the mental part of life or of you. It's functional. The problem is we mistake it for reality. We take it as what is. We believe our own interpretations. We believe our own beliefs. Be that as it may, the real approaching of truth, the real approaching of reality, the real going toward God, whatever phrase or word is meaningful to you. Truth, reality, God, realization. The real approach to any of it can only be meaningful, can only happen in your direct experience if you begin from the position of what's really going on. And what's really going on is you don't know. So the first admission that has to happen, the first self-deception that has to unravel, is the self-deception that I know something. Can you admit to yourself that truly you don't know anything? No one does. Here we are in the middle of all this, in the middle of a lifetime, and we don't know anything. This is neither good news nor bad news. It's just a fact. You can't explain how one hair grows on your head. You can explain it biologically, you can explain it chemically, but that's not an explanation. It's absolutely a mystery. It's absolutely nothing that you can say anything about that contains any real knowing. So it's very important to not miss this life, to first start looking at everything as something you don't know, something you don't understand. This is the wise approach. This is a wiser approach than knowing, because knowing is theoretical. If it's not your direct experience, it came from an idea or a thought. Direct experience comes from more of you, from the heart of you, from the totality of you. More of that can be accessed. More of that can be gone into simply by admitting to yourself, by recognizing, by considering the truth of things that you don't know. We really don't know. We don't know how the next breath comes. We don't know how a thought comes in our mind. We don't know how a feeling rises up in our heart. We can't explain how our body moves from one room to another. And yet all of this happens. We tell ourselves, we believe, we theorize, we have the idea that we make it happen. Somehow there's a cause and an effect. Somehow what we do causes what happens. But the real invitation is to look deeper. The real invitation is to consider that none of that is the truth. That everything that happens, the smallest thing in our lives, is much bigger than we are. That we're part of something huge and vast and deep beyond any possibility of comprehension through the mind. So see in these moments together right now, see if you can feel the mysteriousness of all that, the unknowability of all that. The natural condition that we find ourselves in. without unnaturally telling ourselves, well, this means that, and I understand this, and I know that, and I've been told this, and it seems right. Can you, in this moment, just for this time together, step out of that and feel what it's like, just as an experiment, to be a non-knower, to not know anything? All you really know is you're here, and life is breathing through you. See what it feels like to know that and nothing else. See what it feels like to feel it from the inside. And to remind yourself and see clearly, to recognize that this is all you know. How it feels from the inside in this moment is really all you know. You can't say anything about what came before, that's all gone. You can't say anything even about 1 second from now. You don't know. Anything you think you can say, and we all think we can say something, recognize how that's nothing more or less than an assumption. And assumptions aren't reality. Assumptions are ideas and thoughts. So if you've come to that point in your life, and certainly everyone in this room has, where that's not good enough, where you have to know the truth, where you have to know for yourself, when the direct experience has to be gotten to no matter what the price, no matter where it takes you, no matter what you have to give up, no matter what the difficulties. If you've gotten to that point, and certainly you have, then I'm simply saying to you, make that mean everything. Give that the importance that you know it has. That's what your life is really for. Give that the significance just for these moments, just for right now. Give that the significance it really deserves, that this life is going to end, that there's something to find before that happens, that that something is in you and is you, and that oddly enough, it isn't automatic. You have to do something to find it. And that you can spend your life in every possible distraction and not give it its proper importance. If you really want truth, if you really want reality, if you really want spirit, you really have to make it the very most important thing. It has to become the mountain in the middle of your life. The mountain that nothing stops you from climbing, no matter how much your legs hurt, no matter how thin the air gets, no matter how much fear comes up, no matter how raw your fingers get, no matter how many times you fall back. even no matter how many times you fall off the mountain entirely. Most of us have fallen off many times. Most of us have searched for the truth and gone away, given up, or become involved with other things, and then gone back, maybe even again and again. All I'm suggesting is it's fine to go back. All I'm really saying is you're always welcome to go back. You never wear out your welcome with reality. It doesn't matter what you thought before. It doesn't matter what's happened or not happened. The truth is always waiting for you. The truth is always inviting you to come closer. But to be able to move closer, we have to give it the right significance. It has to be seen as the very center of what this life is about. It has to be understood. That this is what everything else is trying to support. Sure, you have to make a living. Sure, you have to have a home. Sure, you have to conduct your relationships, take care of your body, feed yourself. Everything has to be taken care of. There's no conflict here. The search for self, the hunger for the spiritual is not against every other thing or the material world or other concerns. It's not one or the other. It's simply a matter of significance. What really matters. So that you don't spend your life energy just earning a living. There's enough energy. You've been given the gift of life energy. There's enough for you to earn your living and climb the mountain and find yourself. Know yourself. Recognize that you've been given the gift of life. Literally a gift. You didn't do anything to earn it. You didn't ask for it. But now that you find yourself in it, can you achieve the perspective that really values that gift? That doesn't get fooled by every little setback, every negative thought, every self-criticism, every disappointment, every life difficulty. Can you somehow, and maybe you can sense it in this moment, can you somehow section those off as not antithetical to life, not really a distraction from what's real, not really a diversion from truth? not one against the other. These are just the things that happen. Every life has its disappointments. There are no exceptions. Every life has its pains and its tribulations and even its terrors and its horrors. There are no exceptions. Every life has its moments of anxiety, moments of sadness, times of despair, times of hopelessness. There are no exceptions. You will never be an exception. So these difficult moments, these difficult experiences are not against everything. They're not against finding yourself. They're part of this life. We give them far too much importance. We cry and moan when they happen. We indulge ourselves with self-pity. We really expect happiness to be the main thing, and we're really surprised every time a difficulty happens or an unhappy moment. Spiritual maturity is beginning to see very clearly, without any kind of confusion or doubts, that that's absolute nonsense. You can expect sadness and losses, and you can expect joy and happiness. Both happen in every life. To expect different is foolish. To expect different than that is the self-deception that we all carry. So see how you carry right now. Just check into it. See how you carry the self-deception that somehow, in some way, you're an exception. It doesn't apply to you. Now, most people who have no spiritual maturity, who are living in the conventional world, who are mired in the culture, who don't see beyond that, have a strong self-deception that they'll never die. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. They go through life with a vague feeling that somehow they're the exception. Somehow, before I die, medical science will find some magical elixir where people will live much, much longer. This is truly how people think. And we think this way about other things, about all the patterns of how life works, how illness and sickness work, how sad moments and difficult experiences work, how when we lose a loved one, how that works. All these things work in a specific way. There are no exceptions. If you're a human being, these are the way that these things work. So to tell yourself something different is really cheating yourself, really not recognizing a much greater possibility. The greater possibility is to accept how things are, to accept that the body and the mind work in a pattern, and that pattern is fixed and operates for everyone, and that there's no exception. There's never been an exception, and we're not going to be the first exception. So can you accept in a very simple way that there's a simple reality to things just on the material level, just on the level of the body and the mind? That's the material level. There's a simple reality that functions the way it functions, no matter what we think, no matter how much we do or don't fool ourselves about where we fit into all that. Because where we fit is exactly where everyone fits. It's no different for one person or for another. If you can accept that basic, simple approach, the approach that says, I accept that I'm part of something bigger, that I don't control, and that I no longer pretend to be able to explain, then something else happens. Then the mystery, the mysteriousness of it all, begins to reveal itself more to you. You begin to feel it. You begin to sense it. Probably this has happened for each one in the room. But can you go much further? Can you accept it so deeply, so fully, that you actually recognize the endless, eternal, infinite nature of this mystery? Can you recognize that it's not you and then there's the mystery? It's not two things. Can you recognize that the mystery, the unknown, the all that is not trying to do anything to you? In fact, this gift of life comes from that. If you can really be a not knower, if you can really accept that the body and the mind and the lifespan work how they work, if you can really let go of the idea that somehow you're the cause and you're the center, if you can mature enough, recognize enough to admit the truth, to really be fearlessly honest, no matter how much fear is there, then the mystery starts to move in you in a whole different way. Suddenly, it becomes not about getting something. Very quickly, it becomes not even about understanding something. And instead, it becomes about living something. Living something that has always been there. is in everything. Living something that, no matter how it's experienced, is recognized as nothing other than a gift. Then it becomes not about me, myself, and I. Then it's not about, can I find happiness in this lifetime? Then it's not about searching anymore. Then a knowing happens that can't be explained or put into words. And every sincere, thoughtful person has felt this to some degree. But then that knowing can take over. The knowing that's based on recognizing that you don't know. The living that's based on understanding that I don't control this life. The experiencing that isn't limited to this moment's experience, or this place, or this time. The experiencing that recognizes itself as being in eternity, as being right in the middle of infinity. You can know yourself. You can know yourself the way you yearn to know yourself. But it begins by stepping out of yourself and recognizing what's bigger, knowing what's bigger, knowing the experience that is beyond description. It's a strange process. You know yourself by going beyond yourself. There's no other way. So see right now in these moments how deep you can go. See if in fact going deep inside yourself, really feeling yourself from the inside. See how that, and if that, somehow mysteriously turns into going beyond yourself, feeling something that's beyond you. You can feel it. You can experience it. You can taste it. See if right now you can go so deep and feel yourself so fully that you get a taste of something that's beyond you, beyond what can be categorized. It's very much something you feel, and yet somehow it's bigger than a feeling, vaster than a feeling. And still it's very much something you feel. But you feel it with all of you, not just part of you. You feel it, you sense it, you know it, all at the same time. And it's beyond words. It's beyond analyzing. You feel it somehow to be essential and whole in and of itself. See how fully you can experience that right now. So if these things are recognized, if you can actually come to a point where what's bigger, what's beyond surrounds you and you know it, you feel it, you sense it. You're not insensitive to it. If you can come to that point of sensitivity, then in one way or another, you will recognize, and maybe you already have, if so, see if you can recognize it 100%, that there truly is nothing to achieve. The whole journey, the whole search, the whole yearning, very truly is just to get to where you already are, just to get to you, to yourself. And that all feelings of achievement, exterior or interior, is just a simple confusion. Because you can't go to where you already are. You can only stop going everywhere else. This is where people get very confused, because it doesn't mean you drop out of life. It doesn't mean you don't go to work every day. It doesn't mean you retreat to a cave someplace. It means you recognize that these things don't have the true significance, the same significance as that which is beyond everything. You actually start to give the significance to what matters, to the mystery, to life itself, to the beyond, whatever you want to call it. You actually start to give the real importance to that you've always sensed you should. Knowing you should is very different than when it actually happens. When it actually starts to happen, everything changes. Then you start to see very clearly for the first time, without any doubts, without any confusion. You begin to actually know, in a direct knowing, that there's no achieving of anything. It's all been given to you as a gift long ago. Where am I running to get what I'm trying to get? Why am I running? What am I trying to get? That whole crazy race, that whole crazy movement begins to be seen clearly for how crazy it is. And somehow, mysteriously, surely by grace, you begin to actually relax. You begin to actually not worry so much about every achieving that seems necessary. Somehow the mystery permeates more deeply for you. enters more deeply in you, rises up more clearly in you. And you begin to see that there's nowhere to go but here. In some strange and mysterious way, it just starts to get clear. And you feel your own heart opening. So if you can move out of the self-deception that somehow you're the exception, if you can allow the maturity that recognizes that you cannot tame the mystery, you will not solve the mystery, that the mystery will not bend to you, that you have to bend to the mystery. And all of this that we've talked about tonight, if you can make any steps in these directions, then you've done what every single spiritual tradition and religious doctrine suggests. Because what have you done? If you've done any of this, if you move more deeply with any of this, this is how you drop the ego. Not by fighting with it, not by trying to throw it out the window, not by trying to drown it or kill it. Simply by moving beyond it. This is how you transcend the ego. People are always asking, well, how? This is how. People are always saying, I want to go beyond my ego, but I don't know how. Tell me how. This is how. Recognize that you don't have the answers, that no one does. Recognize the mystery that's beyond you. Admit to yourself honestly that you don't control anything, any of the things you think or feel you do. Do any of these things even a little bit, and the ego can't survive for long. You transcend the ego by seeing beyond the ego, by seeing and knowing there's something more, there's something bigger, there's something beyond. Not by conquering the ego. You can't conquer the ego. If you try, it will win every time. But you can transcend the ego. You can move into a bigger and vaster space where the ego can't come along. You can allow the mystery to take you there. And the more you do, the more you actually truly allow that, the more you'll recognize, the more you'll feel without any doubt or confusion that it's right here. You'll really be surprised. You will say, oh my God, it's right here where I'm sitting. It's right here in me. You'll know it's real because you'll feel the absolute amazement. And it's not far away. Just a little more understanding, a little more honesty, a little more recognition of how the body and the mind are doing its own thing. And the beyond comes to you. That day is possible for each one of you. And not decades down the road after arduous meditations and practices. Just the recognition of the beyond. And making that recognition the most important one of all. So as you come back to the room and as you come back to the surface, see if you can take with you right now, and it can be remembered anytime, the experience of being someone who's standing in the beyond. This is the truth. The more you experience it for yourself, the more you experience it directly, the bigger it becomes. The more it becomes the reality you can see and feel and know. And then the day isn't far away. When the truth is lived through you.